My daughter-in-law spit in my face during an argument and my son said I deserved it. I said nothing and went to bed. Next morning, they woke up to the smell of pancakes and saw the table filled with treats. My son said, "Good, you finally understood your place." But when they saw who was sitting next to me at the table, they froze. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button. Let me tell you how I got to that moment. Because what happened next changed everything for all of us. I'm Howard Brennan, 58 years old, and until 3 days ago I thought I was living a peaceful retirement in my own home. I spent 35 years working at the manufacturing plant after serving my country in Vietnam. When I retired 2 years back, I figured I'd earned the right to some quiet time in my workshop, maybe help the neighbors with their home repairs, and enjoy the house my late wife Sarah and I built together. My son Nathan moved back in 6 months ago with his wife Stephanie after they lost their apartment. "Just temporary, Dad," he said, "until we get back on our feet." I should have known better. Nathan has a way of making temporary situations permanent when they benefit him. The trouble started in my workshop. Now, let me tell you something about my workshop. It's in the garage, and every single tool has its place. After 40 years of collecting and organizing, I know exactly where everything goes. My father taught me that a man's tools are his livelihood, and you respect them like you respect yourself. That lesson got me through 3 decades at the plant and countless home projects with Sarah. In Vietnam, we learned that organization saves lives. Your rifle better be where you expect it. Your gear better be ready when you need it. I brought that discipline home with me and it served me well. Everything in my workshop has a purpose and a place. The socket sets arranged by size, the hand planes oiled and stored properly, my grandfather's vintage Starrett precision instruments in their original cases. Stephanie had been rearranging things without asking, moving my socket sets, shifting my workbench supplies, even relocating my grandfather's vintage plane set that's worth more than most people's cars. She'd moved my measuring tools to make room for her craft supplies, scattered my carefully organized screws and bolts, and worst of all, she'd been using my precision instruments to hang pictures around the house. When I politely asked her to leave my tools where they belong, she exploded like a hand grenade. "This is exactly what I'm talking about," she screamed, her face red with fury. "You're so controlling about every little thing. No wonder Sarah probably couldn't stand living with you either." My wife Sarah didn't leave me. She died of cancer 3 years ago after 32 years of marriage. We built this house together, raised Nathan here, and she spent her final months in the bedroom upstairs with me holding her hand. But Stephanie has never let facts interfere with a good insult. "Stephanie," I said calmly, keeping my voice level the way I learned in the service, "I just want my tools back where I can find them. I've got Mr. Peterson's deck repair to finish tomorrow, and I need my level." That's when she completely lost it. "I am so sick of walking on eggshells around you and your precious workshop. This whole house feels like a museum where we're not allowed to touch anything." The irony was thick. They'd been living rent-free in my house for 6 months, eating my food, using my utilities, and I was the problem because I wanted my tools organized properly. Nathan came running from the living room where he'd been watching TV instead of looking for work like he'd promised. Instead of backing me up, instead of showing his wife some respect for the man who raised him, he immediately sided with her. "Dad, you have been pretty rigid about things," he said, not meeting my eyes. "Maybe you could be more flexible." Flexible? I'd been flexible for 6 months. Flexible when they moved in temporarily. Flexible when Nathan's job search turned into Netflix marathons. Flexible when Stephanie treated my home like her personal renovation project. That's when Stephanie stepped closer to me, her eyes blazing with a hatred that caught me completely off guard. "I've had it with your passive-aggressive comments and your precious routines," she snarled. "You want to know what I really think of you?" Then she spit directly in my face. The warm saliva hit my cheek and slowly dripped down. I stood there, frozen, unable to process what had just happened. In my 58 years, through a war and decades of factory work, through dealing with difficult customers and demanding supervisors, no one had ever shown me such deliberate disrespect. I looked at Nathan, waiting for him to say something, anything to defend his father. This was his wife showing complete contempt for the man who'd raised him, fed him, housed him, and was currently supporting both of them. Instead, he shrugged. "Well, Dad, you kind of brought this on yourself. You've been making Stephanie feel unwelcome since day one." Those words hit me harder than the spit. My own son, the boy I'd taught to throw a baseball, the young man I'd helped through college, The adult I was currently supporting was telling me I deserved to be humiliated in my own home. I wiped my face with a shop rag, set it on the workbench, and without saying a word, went inside to my bedroom. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at nothing. 35 years I'd worked to build this life. 32 years of marriage in this house. I'd raised Nathan here, paid for his education, supported his dreams, and this is what I got in return. The bedroom still smelled faintly of Sarah's perfume. Even after 3 years, she'd have known what to do. Sarah always could handle family situations better than me, but she wasn't here to help me navigate this mess, and I was on my own. But as I sat there in the darkness, something began to shift inside me. The hurt was transforming into something else, something colder and more purposeful. I had options they didn't know about, resources they'd never bothered to ask about, and patience they'd never tested before. I served in Vietnam. I learned how to plan, how to wait, and how to execute a mission. The enemy never expects patience. They expect quick reactions, emotional responses, immediate retaliation. But the smart soldier waits, observes, and strikes when victory is certain. By morning, I had a strategy. I woke up before dawn and went straight to the kitchen. The smell of vanilla and cinnamon filled the house as I prepared the most elaborate breakfast I'd made in years. Pancakes, fresh fruit, bacon, sausage, hash browns, and my famous French toast that Sarah used to love making for special occasions. I set out the good china, the plates we only used for holidays. I arranged everything perfectly, like Sarah would have done. Fresh orange juice in the crystal glasses, real maple syrup in the ceramic pitcher. Even cloth napkins instead of paper ones. When Nathan and Stephanie came downstairs, their eyes widened at the feast spread across the dining room table. They looked confused but pleased, like children who'd been bad the night before and woke up to find Christmas morning anyway. "Good," Nathan said with satisfaction, settling into his chair. "You finally understood your place, his place, in my own home. After everything I'd done for him, after 6 months of supporting him and his disrespectful wife, he thought I'd learned my place." That's when they noticed I wasn't alone. The man sitting at my dining room table was wearing a perfectly tailored navy suit and eating my pancakes like he belonged there. He had the kind of presence that commands attention, the bearing of someone who's used to being listened to when he speaks. When Nathan and Stephanie saw him, the color drained from their faces completely. "Dad," Nathan stammered, his fork frozen halfway to his mouth. "Who is this?" "Nathan, Stephanie," I said pleasantly, passing the syrup like we were having a normal family breakfast. "I'd like you to meet Craig Morrison. He's a lawyer." Stephanie dropped her coffee mug. The ceramic shattered on my hardwood floor, coffee spreading in a dark stain across the wood Sarah and I had refinished together just 5 years ago. But nobody moved to clean it up. Craig stood and extended his hand with the kind of professional courtesy that costs $400 an hour. "Pleased to meet you both. Your father has told me quite a lot about you." The way he said it made clear that what I'd told him wasn't flattering. His tone was polite but cold, like a doctor delivering bad news with practiced sympathy. "A lawyer?" Stephanie's voice cracked like thin ice. "Howard, what do you need a lawyer for?" I love how she only gets respectful when she's scared. For 6 months, I'd been Dad's being difficult, or he's so controlling. Now suddenly I was Howard again, said with the kind of careful politeness people use around explosives. "Well, after last night's conversation, I realized I needed to make some adjustments to my estate planning," I said, buttering my toast with deliberate calm. "Craig specializes in situations like mine." "What kind of situations?" Nathan was trying to sound casual, but I could see the panic creeping into his eyes like smoke under a door. Craig opened his briefcase with practiced efficiency and removed a thick folder. "Legal documents have a certain weight to them, a gravity that makes people pay attention. Elder abuse situations. Your father called me at 6 this morning describing what happened. Spitting on a senior citizen in their own home qualifies as assault under state law." Stephanie went very still, like a deer that's just noticed the hunter. "I didn't assault anyone. It was just an argument that got heated." "Bodily fluids constitute assault," Craig replied matter-of-factly, his voice carrying the authority of someone who's argued these cases in court. "But we're not here to discuss criminal charges. We're here to discuss your father's will." The silence that followed was so complete I could hear the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway. The same clock Sarah and I had bought for our 10th anniversary. Each tick seemed to echo in the sudden quiet. "My will," I repeated, letting the words hang in the air like smoke. "Oh yes, I've decided to make some significant changes." Nathan sat down heavily, his chair scraping against the floor. The sound was sharp and final, like a cell door closing. "Dad, you're being dramatic. Stephanie apologizes for last night, don't you, Stephanie?" But Stephanie wasn't apologizing. She was staring at Craig like he was a rattlesnake coiled to strike, her eyes darting between the legal documents and his calm, professional expression. "What changes?" she asked directly, her voice barely above a whisper. Craig pulled out several documents, spreading them across the table like a poker player revealing a winning hand. "But Dad," Nathan said, his voice getting desperate. "We're family, are we?" I asked quietly. "Because family doesn't spit on family. Family doesn't defend someone who assaults their own father." Craig cleared his throat and pulled out more documents. "Mr. Brennan, shall we discuss the new beneficiary arrangements?" "New beneficiaries?" Stephanie's voice shot up an octave. "The American Legion Scholarship Fund," I announced calmly. "The Vietnam Veterans Association. The local fire department needs new equipment." I paused for effect. People who actually contribute something to society. Nathan looked like he might throw up. "Dad, you can't just give away everything we've worked for." "What have you worked for, Nathan? Name one thing you've contributed to this family in the past 6 months." Silence. I thought so. I stood up and walked to the window overlooking the backyard where I'd taught him to throw a football. "Craig, there's something else we need to discuss." "What else?" Stephanie demanded, but her bravado was cracking. I walked over to a cardboard box I'd placed by the hutch earlier that morning. Inside were the vintage Starrett precision instruments my grandfather had left Nathan. Tools worth more than some people's cars, sitting forgotten in my basement for 6 months. "Nathan, do you remember these?" I asked, lifting out a pristine 1940s micrometer still in its original wooden case. Nathan's eyes widened. "Great-grandpa's tools. I forgot about those." "You forgot." I set the micrometer on the table next to the legal documents. "These aren't just tools, Nathan. They're Starrett precision instruments from the 1940s. Your great-grandfather used them in the shipyard during World War II. Craig examined the micrometer with professional interest. "Those are quite valuable. Collectors pay premium prices for vintage Starrett equipment in this condition." "How premium?" Stephanie asked, though I could tell she was afraid of the answer. I pulled out my phone and showed them the auction listing I'd created at 5 a.m. "Current bid is $7,500. The auction ends Sunday." "You're selling great-grandpa's tools." Nathan looked stricken. "I'm selling abandoned property that's been cluttering up my basement," I corrected. "Property you dismissed as old junk when you moved in. But those belong to me," Nathan protested. "Do they?" Craig consulted his notes. "According to abandonment law, property left on someone else's premises without payment or formal agreement transfers ownership after 6 months." "You can't do this," Stephanie said. But her voice lacked conviction. "Actually, he can." Craig replied smoothly. "The law is quite clear on abandoned property rights." Nathan sat back down heavily. "Dad, please, those tools are all I have left of great-grandpa. You had them, Nathan, and you threw them in my basement and forgot about them. Just like you forgot about responsibility, forgot about respect, forgot about everything I tried to teach you." But I wasn't finished with my revelations. "There's something else you both need to know," I said, reaching for another manila envelope. "I got a phone call yesterday from Pete Williams at the bank. Pete served with me in Vietnam, and he's been helping me with some financial planning." Craig nodded. "Mr. Williams discovered some irregularities in unemployment benefit claims." Nathan went white. "What kind of irregularities?" "The kind where you claim to be actively seeking employment while spending your days watching television," I replied. "Unemployment fraud is a federal offense, Nathan." "I have been looking for work," Nathan stammered, "really, because according to the state database, you've submitted exactly 3 job applications in 6 months, all for positions you were overqualified for and didn't want." Stephanie was calculating frantically in her head. I could practically see the numbers spinning behind her eyes. Criminal charges, lost inheritance, homeless by Friday. "Howard," she said carefully, "maybe we've all been hasty here. Perhaps we could work something out." "What kind of something?" I asked, though I already knew where this was heading. "Well, what if we paid rent? A fair amount for staying here." Craig leaned forward with interest. "What do you consider fair rent for an $850,000 property? Maybe $500 a month?" Nathan suggested hopefully. I actually laughed. $500. "Nathan, This house is worth $850,000. Fair market rent would be at least $2,200 a month. The hope died in his eyes immediately. They couldn't afford that any more than they could afford their own place. However, I said, letting the word hang in the air, I might consider a different kind of arrangement. Both of them leaned forward like drowning people reaching for a life preserver. What kind of arrangement? Stephanie asked desperately. I pulled out the contract I'd spent hours preparing with Craig's guidance. You can stay here rent-free for exactly 90 days while you find real jobs and save for your own place. That sounds reasonable, Nathan said quickly. I wasn't finished. I held up my hand. In exchange, you'll both attend financial counseling sessions twice a week. You'll contribute to household expenses based on your actual income when you start earning it. And most importantly, you'll treat me with the respect I deserve as the owner of this home. Craig smiled approvingly. Very generous terms considering the circumstances. There's also a penalty clause, I continued. Any disrespect, any violence, any damage to my property, and the agreement is void. You're out immediately with no discussion, no second chances, no appeals. Stephanie was reading over the contract with the intensity of someone studying a bomb. This is very specific. It has to be, Craig explained. Clear boundaries prevent future misunderstandings. Your father is essentially giving you a structured path to redemption. And if we sign this, you'll cancel the tool auction? Nathan asked. I shook my head. The tools get sold either way. Consider it back rent for the 6 months you've been freeloading. That's not fair, Stephanie objected. Fair? I set down my coffee cup with deliberate precision. Stephanie, you've lived in my house for 6 months without paying a dime. You've rearranged my personal belongings without permission. You assaulted me in my own home. And you think I'm being unfair? The silence stretched out while they processed their options. Stay and accept my terms or leave with nothing and face potential criminal charges for unemployment fraud. We need to discuss this privately, Stephanie said finally. Of course, Craig and I will be on the back porch. Take all the time you need. As we walked outside, Craig shook his head with admiration. Brilliant strategy, Howard. You've given them just enough hope to make the right choice while ensuring they face consequences for their actions. They'll sign, I predicted, watching them through the kitchen window as they gestured frantically at each other. Stephanie's too proud to admit complete defeat, and Nathan's too scared to face the real world without a safety net. And if they violate the agreement... I smiled, settling into one of Sarah's wicker patio chairs. Then I get my house back. They get nothing, and I've documented everything for the criminal charges. Craig nodded approvingly. Either way, you win. That's the mark of good strategy. 25 minutes later, they emerged from the house with the signed contract. But even as Nathan handed it to me, I could see Stephanie's jaw set in that stubborn way that meant trouble ahead. I was right about her. She lasted exactly 11 days before testing the new boundaries. It started small, the way disrespect always does. She'd forget to clean up after herself, leave passive-aggressive notes about the house rules, make snide comments about living under a dictatorship. Each violation carefully documented with photos, timestamps, and witness statements from neighbors who'd grown tired of her complaints. The breaking point came on a Tuesday morning when I caught her in my bedroom going through my personal financial documents. Bank statements scattered across my desk, investment portfolios pulled from their files, even Sarah's jewelry box opened and examined. Looking for something specific? I asked from the doorway. She spun around, guilt written across her face like neon signs. I was just dusting with my bank statements. Her defiance kicked in immediately. Fine, I was looking at your finances. Do you know how frustrating it is to be broke while living with someone who obviously has money hidden away? Hidden. I pulled out my phone, showing her the time-stamped photos I'd taken of my organized desk just yesterday. Or carefully filed in private documents you have no right to access. We need to know what we're dealing with, she shot back. Nathan wants to ask you for money to start that repair business. And I need to know if you can actually afford it. How much money? $30,000. For tools, a truck, advertising. $30,000. They'd been planning to ask me for $30,000 while treating me like an inconvenience in my own home. Stephanie, pack your things. What? You violated the agreement. Invasion of privacy, going through personal documents without permission. You're out. She laughed. Actually laughed. You can't kick me out for looking at some papers. I held up my phone. I recorded this entire conversation. You just admitted to going through my private financial information and planning to manipulate me for money. The laughter died instantly. You recorded me without permission. In my own home, investigating a break-in of my private bedroom. Perfectly legal. Nathan appeared in the doorway, drawn by the voices. "What's going on now? Your wife violated our agreement," I said simply. "She's been going through my personal financial documents without permission." Nathan looked between us, and I could see him making calculations. Wife versus housing. Marriage versus survival. "Stephanie," he said quietly, "tell me you didn't." "Don't take his side," she snapped. "He's being completely unreasonable." "Unreasonable?" Nathan's voice rose. "We signed a contract. We agreed to specific terms. You broke them. I was trying to help us plan for the future." By snooping through Dad's private papers, Nathan ran his hands through his hair. "Stephanie, what were you thinking?" For the first time since they'd moved in, Nathan was standing up to his wife instead of enabling her behavior. "I was thinking about survival," she said defensively, "about getting out of this situation. This situation where we live rent-free in a beautiful house while Dad supports us." Nathan's voice cracked with frustration. "This situation where all we have to do is show basic respect and find jobs." Something had fundamentally changed in my son. The confrontation had forced him to choose between his wife's entitlement and reality. "Dad," he turned to me. "I'll make this right. I'll find work this week. Any work. I'll pay back every penny we owe you." And Stephanie? Nathan looked at his wife with something approaching disappointment. "Stephanie will apologize properly and start job hunting too, or she can find somewhere else to live. You're choosing him over me?" Stephanie's voice turned shrill. "I'm choosing responsibility over chaos," Nathan replied firmly. "I'm choosing to grow up instead of acting like a spoiled teenager." The transformation was remarkable. For the first time in months, Nathan sounded like the man I'd raised instead of the boy who'd been hiding from adulthood. Stephanie stared at both of us, realizing she'd finally pushed too far. "Fine, Howard. I apologize for going through your personal documents. It was wrong, and it won't happen again. And," Nathan prompted, "and I'll start looking for work immediately. Real work, not just applications I don't want to follow up on." I studied her face. The apology was forced, but at least it was an apology. Accepted. "But Stephanie, this is your final warning. Any other violations and the agreement is void. No discussions, no appeals." 3 days later, Nathan had a job at Peterson's Auto Repair. Not glamorous work, but honest work that paid decent wages. Stephanie swallowed her pride and took a position at the grocery store, stocking shelves and learning what real responsibility felt like. Over the next 90 days, I watched them transform. Nathan discovered he actually enjoyed fixing cars, solving mechanical problems with his hands. Stephanie learned that earning her own money felt better than scheming to get someone else's. They moved into a modest apartment exactly 90 days after signing our agreement, just as promised. Nathan had been promoted to assistant mechanic, and Stephanie had proven reliable enough to become a shift supervisor. The tool auction had raised $14,500, which I donated to the Vietnam Veterans Association in memory of my father and grandfather. Sometimes the most valuable lessons cost the most to learn. 2 years later, when I had my mild heart attack, Nathan dropped everything to drive me to the hospital. Stephanie brought me homemade soup during my recovery. Soup she'd learned to make from Sarah's old recipe cards. At my 60th birthday party last month, Nathan stood up to give a toast. "To my father," he said, "who taught me that sometimes the people who love you most are the ones willing to let you fail until you learn to succeed. You know, there's something powerful about standing your ground when people try to take advantage of your kindness. Too many of us older folks think we have to keep the peace at any cost, even when that cost is our own dignity. But I learned that setting boundaries isn't cruel, it's necessary. When someone disrespects you in your own home, when family members treat your generosity like weakness, sometimes the most loving thing you can do is show them consequences. Real consequences that force growth instead of enabling failure. Don't let anyone convince you that demanding respect makes you the bad guy. Sometimes the toughest lessons create the strongest people. Thanks for listening, and remember to share your own stories in the comments below.